I'll admit it, SpongeBob now sucks. But to me, the Loud House happens to be such a great animated classic since the kid reflects my personality. Now, SpongeBob not even a changeable for some reason. I understand it's usually funny throughout the series, but since the character has a job, it's weird that he doesn't have a driving license even though he's in his mid-20s. It's also weird that he ended up failing his driving test about 40 times, but even I know nobody's able to fail that many tests. Another thing that SpongeBob was always living alone with one pet, but with the Loud House, the kid Lizard 10's sisters were having four pets. And no, I'm not just comparing the difference between SpongeBob's quiet house and the Loud House with the characters being noisy, but to me they're not that noisy. And that happens to be another problem. SpongeBob yelling and screaming just happens to be annoying. I mean, is that really necessary? Why is that SpongeBob always acting like a 5-year-old even though he's in his mid-20s? It doesn't make sense. Even if he's not mature since he doesn't have a girlfriend. But with the Loud House, uh, 11, Lincoln's 11 years old, and he had a girlfriend who once bullied him before. It's very similar to me since I started my maturity when I was about 10 years old. But still, why does this need to happen? I don't understand why SpongeBob can't just go out into the real world and find a girlfriend himself. And as I said before, it's really necessary since SpongeBob lives on his own with no one to talk to except his pet snail who's always meowing. Not only that, but SpongeBob has a brainless best friend who lives next door to his grumpy neighbor Squidward. I mean, his best friend happens to be dumb throughout the series, but Squidward never changes his personality. I mean, ever notice how that jerk is always so grumpy? Well, with the Loud House, Lincoln's girlfriend Ronnie Ann ends up changing her personality after they get along with each other and save the date. Even I see that the difference between those two characters, not that they have anything in common, but the problem with Squidward is that he's usually happy whenever SpongeBob's not around. I mean, seriously, why does this guy always have to be so freaking aggressive throughout the series? Did the creator thought that would be a good idea to create a character that only had a grumpy personality? I know Ryan never stayed that way during her first appearance. And speaking of dumb characters, I know that Lincoln has an older sister named Lenny who's usually dumb at times. Not that it annoys me, but with Patrick, it ends up being irritating whenever he starts acting dumb for some reason. Again, why does it need to happen every moment? And what difference does it make beyond the point of the fact that I can't avoid his stupidity? To me, it's actually funny how Lenny can be dumb at times, as I said before. It doesn't feel annoying, but it's classic. I even see a reason why Lenny can sometimes not pay attention to what's around her. I mean, even it's nothing compared to Patrick, who's always being dumb at random times throughout the series. Why does he do that so often? And what's the point of adding him into SpongeBob if he's one of the worst, dumbest characters ever created? Again, I mean, SpongeBob is in his mid-20s, but he still doesn't know how to drive. Even his teacher has always been frustrated by every driving test that he failed. He always thinks that it's funny just by crashing into things. I mean, didn't his parents teach him how to drive as a kid? His other friend taught how to drive. Even Patrick got his own license once. And what's the point of him crying over everything, even when he's a young adult? Not only that, but he happens to annoy everyone around him. I mean, how would you like it if you were relaxing on a fine day and all of a sudden I just pop out of nowhere and start annoying you for a few hours? It's just so freaking retarded. He has an annoying habit of immature character, and I mean, what's the point of having him as a popular character if he acts so childish and immature? It's nothing compared to those other Nickelodeon shows they aired back in the days. But believe it or not, they ended up creating a new character that was related to SpongeBob. And throughout the episode, he ended up causing chaos. Though even he states that everything he touches ends up getting ruined. As far as I'm concerned, this show sucks. I mean, I had to make this video in order for me to express my opinion between SpongeBob and the Loud House, but I did to demonstrate the major differences to how SpongeBob is more annoying than the Loud House. But to me, the Loud House isn't annoying at all. I can't even stand the dreadfulness that SpongeBob does, but it just blows my mind how horrible it is. Again, it doesn't add to the fact that this dumb annoying character has been popular for almost about 19 years since his very first episode in the late 90s or 21st century or whatever. But, I mean, why? Just why is it so bad? If all these problems were changed, then we have great scenes of classic Nickelodeon shows. But history is history, so I might as well count the Loud House as the next era of classic Nickelodeon shows and leave that awful, annoying character behind. As it stands today, it's stated my opinion between SpongeBob and the Loud House. I will continue to watch the Loud as long as Lincoln still has his relationship with his girlfriend Ronnie in. Thank you for listening. Good night. The movie sucked too.